In the old world, there are two main reasons for the rise of unemployment or poverty. The technological progress which eliminates jobs, or declining production which costs both jobs and prosperity. How do we deal with these two challenges in Tabanisi? In the old world, unemployment is created by machines taking over the tasks of humans. This reduces the amount of work, or individual jobs are completely lost. How do we cope with this problem in Tabanisi? The solution is quite simple. Work is redistributed. Since the machines take over some work, we all can work less. If a job is completely lost, the person concerned must work elsewhere in the community, which is no problem in view of the abundance of urgent tasks. A true community will not put into unemployment those whose work has been assumed by machines, for which they are not to blame personally. Rather, the technological progress, the reduction of the number of working hours, must benefit all co-workers. If, using new machines, we continue to sell the same amount of products at the same price as before, then sales, costs and profits, and thus the prosperity of our community, remains essentially the same as before. We can therefore continue to pay to all co-workers the same share of the collectively earned proceeds. As opposed to that, in the old world, the entrepreneur claims the advantage of the technological progress for himself alone, by dismissing superfluous employees, by imposing their upkeep on the community, and by increasing his profit through the saving of labor costs. Such a selfish behavior is unthinkable in a true community. Thus, the progress of technology becomes a blessing because the machines reduce the burden of primitive work. It is a great relief that washing machines, combine harvesters, or speech recognition programs by which the computer converts dictates without the help of a secretary into written text, spares humanity monotonous, routine work. Just imagine, in 50 years from now, it might be possible to create the present prosperity, the current gross national product, with only half of today's working time. Would that not be a reason to rejoice, instead of to complain about the loss of jobs? Would it not be wonderful if we all had to work less in our profession in order to earn our daily bread? Who of you would not like to have more time for the really important things: family, spiritual interests, unsalaried activities. Would we not come closer to the realization of a dream if we could make do with half-day work without sacrificing prosperity? However, this is possible only if we allow the advantage of automation to benefit all community members. Problems arise when the turnover of our businesses drops. For example, because competitors offer the same products cheaper or in better quality. Then we can only sell fewer products at the old price, or the same number of products at a lower price, or even fewer products at a lower price. Then there is less work and less profit. If fewer goods are produced and less work is required, this loss must be distributed fairly. All community members will then work less. We all share the consequences of our diminished competitiveness. If individual jobs are completely eliminated, the persons concerned have to change to another working place. For example, if the community's profit drops by 10%, the shares of all co-workers must be reduced by 10%. The principle of just distribution of the necessary work and of the collectively earned revenues remains in full force and effect, only with shares on a lower level. The example of Tbilisi shows an ethical, economic and labor policy must be based upon the principle that everyone makes a fair contribution and receives a just share of what has been earned collectively. This requires responsibly acting co-workers who shake off their own egotism, who place the rule of justice above their own advantage, and whose aim it is to contribute more to the common pot than they withdraw from it. You see, morals are not a luxury which you can afford if you have enough resources and which you put off once it gets serious. On the contrary, applied ethics are the only means to solve our material everyday problems. The fight against poverty and unemployment is a struggle for justice. Justice is a revolutionary concept which completely changes the world, if we only master the strength to enforce it. For those who do not live in Tbilisi, the question arises: how can you overcome the burden of poverty and unemployment on your own? You can join our community at any time, even if you dwell elsewhere. You can live in the diaspora according to our principles as well. No follower of Thabinisi is ever poor or unemployed. Recall once more, objectively, there is work in abundance. The so-called unemployment does not exist in reality, but only in our minds. There it must be fought. You have to create a new consciousness, a better attitude towards the problems of everyday life. If you were put out of work, first of all, you have to regain your self-esteem, your pride, and your dignity. Remember, your situation is not due to your own personal inadequacy, but to the fact that you are forced to live in an unjust system among selfish people who are unwilling to share. This is not your fault, and no reason to feel inferior. Above all, you must overcome your own egotism. That means, do not participate in the fight of everyone against everyone. Do not, as the others, try to grab as much as possible from the common pot for yourself, because that necessarily means to take away from the others as much as possible. Think about how you can give back to the community the support which you receive. Earn what you get as social aid. Your endeavor must always be to contribute more than you claim. Only in this way you maintain your dignity. How can this come true? Even as an unemployed, you can leave the private area of your home like any other professional in the morning to do 8 hours of work for the common good. If payment is not in the foreground, it will no longer be difficult for you to find a place where you can make your contribution to eliminate the omnipresent hardship, suffering, and dirt. You can take care of the elderly or the sick or of neglected children or other people in distress. You can turn to the churches, to the Red Cross or other charities. You can clean or embellish an ugly corner in your era. If you keep your eyes open, there will be more urgent tasks than you can ever manage to cope with. If you succeed, you have overcome your unemployment. In all reality, you then have earned what the society gives you as so-called unemployment benefit. If you do 8 hours a day of honorary work for the common good, you do not have to regard as alms the share of the collective wealth which you receive. You can be as proud of it as any employee of his salary. Finally, you will not feel poor but rich when you can give so much, when you have found a way to make a valuable contribution to the common good. The need for survival is being taken care of. That what goes beyond is of little importance. The true wealth lies within the heart, where, as Jesus says, it cannot be stolen by thieves or corroded by rust. To finish this broadcasting, let us listen to the popular saying. If you do not create heaven within your own heart, you will not be able to find it anywhere else in the world.